I lifted the ban on puns for overtime. It's stop, collaborate, and listen.
That's good.
I get it.
I like it.
I didn't love it. Giants at Bears, Sunday at 1 on Fox. Caleb said the vibes are great earlier in this week. Today, his coach agreed. Danny, are you willing to guarantee a Bears victory over the New York Giants?
No.
No.
Guarantee?
You really lost your confidence.
No. I think the Bears will win. I think they'll win. They'll probably win. Guarantee? I was born. I wasn't born yesterday. I've seen this Bears team lose way worse
Isn't
games.
this Bears team supposed to be different?
Yeah, I know.
Isn't Caleb supposed to be different?
Aren't you and
Hold on
Ben
a second.
Johnson like text buddies
Yeah,
now?
hold on a second. This is no disrespect to Caleb Williams or friend of
It
the
sounds
show,
like it.
Ben Johnson, or hopefully eventual friend of the show, Caleb Williams. The invitation has been extended.
He's friend of the show. We had him on the show.
Yeah, he's friend of the First Things First.
That was
universe.
when he was the sixth best quarterback.
Yeah,
in the
that
world.
is true.
Yeah, pre-NFL,
Yeah.
pre-Bear, Caleb Williams. Yeah,
But
okay,
go ahead.
well, I'm just saying they are going to need to be good for probably like years before I'm willing to guarantee a victory.
But the Giants stink.
Nick, I have too many scars, buddy. I don't know that I would guarantee a victory over Rutgers.
Okay.
Much less than
We're standing
much
on
less than
quicksand.
Giants. No, but here, listen. I do think this team is not bad, and they have the potential to be good, and they have beaten bad teams. So they should win. Like, I can show you what they've done against the bad teams to make the case for it. I just am taking umbrage with the word guarantee. Yeah. Against teams with a losing record this year, they're 5-1 and they've looked great. So I expect
The Giants have, yeah.
And the Giants have a losing record. So the Bears should win the game. But I'm not setting myself up for a broken heart. I have fallen for that time and time and time. Save the segment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm stunned. I have to tell you, I'm stunned.
Guarantee?
Yeah, of course. It's the Brew go, and then
Did I mess up?
It's just sad.
There you go.
I mean, I look at this as an indictment on your belief in Caleb.
Yes.
You guys are
This is not only the Giants who are a bad
Bears
team,
win. Bears guarantee
but
Bears win. No.
the Giants who are crestfallen.
Correct.
They've lost several of their best young players, first neighbors, now Scatterboot. Like, they know the season's over. They're deflated. They had to win last week to try to get it going. I think that they are mentally not there. And the Bears, this is a bad team you are facing. You guys are right in the smack of the playoff hunt.
Yeah.
Caleb coming off a great game. I'm looking at it as Caleb needs to cook. This is a type of game I want to see him play well, and then he has, because the Giants, their defense has been good, but I think in the state that they're in right now, he needs to go out there and make them pay the price. I am just shocked, though,
I am too.
at your disbelief in Caleb.
It's not disbelief, and it certainly isn't disbelief in Caleb.
It definitely is.
No, it is not.
Definitely is.
Definitely not.
Oh, wait a second, man.
Guarantee a win.
Buddy,
Guarantee a win.
You're at home in a game you've got to have.
You guys
with
don't watch the NFL.
With the team, no. Okay, no. Listen, nobody's going to chop off your hand if you're wrong. It's not, and so yes, there is a bit of. I guess
Any given Sunday,
creative license to guarantee, but are you as confident as one can be in a football game that the Bears, when they've got to have it against a Giants team that I believe is done? I believe that Giants loss to the Broncos, and I said it the day after, might end up being the Bears' loss to Washington last year, the Hail Mary game. It broke the team. That the coach gets fired because of it. That we look at that moment as that team was like, oh, sneaky competitive. Because remember, the Giants were coming off the Eagles win. They were dominating that game. And then they are just a shell of that team. So I agree with Brew. This is maybe unintentional, but this is a crack in your faith in Caleb.
It is not.
Then
I don't even think the Bears. Listen, I think the Giants' defense is the second worst rush defense in football. I think it's going to be windy at Soldier Field. They're saying 20 to 30 mile an hour winds. I think Kyle Monungai could rush for another 175 yards like he did last week.
So why not guarantee the W?
I watched the game against Cincinnati, and it took a miracle for them to win. The Bears' defense also bad. I think the Bears will move the ball on the Giants. I think Caleb will be fine. I think the Bears will win. They're 4.5-point favorites. They're not good enough yet for me to write in pen or ink that they are guaranteed to win.
Where's the base?
They lost
the base. All I hear is
to
trouble.
Snoop Huntley 3 weeks ago.
Brew, you willing to guarantee a win over the Vikings?
He's got Lamar Jackson. He's got
See, there we go.
He's got
Exactly.
five. Yeah,
He believes in Lamar Jackson.
Caleb Williams is
I
not
believe
Lamar
in
Jackson.
my quarterback.
Caleb Williams is
How
not
about this?
Lamar Jackson. That's not a weird
I will
thing
lower
to
the
say.
bar.
Okay.
Can you guarantee me, although it's going to be windy,
I'm sorry for doing an analysis.
Caleb Williams will outplay Jackson Dart?
Yeah, I can guarantee you that. I can guarantee that.
Really?
I got no problem with that.
Okay.
I got no problem with that.
trying to get you somewhere.
I'm sorry. I didn't know that I had to just be like, absolutely.
Well, you
There's
didn't-
no
knew
scenario
the question.
where a Bears team that lost to Snoop Huntley, that has all of their secondary out, that's a 4-point favorite, is just a tier 1 upper echelon guaranteed victory of a team.
Then the real story is, if we're done pillaring Danny,
take your
which
time.
we could keep going for the rest of the show if you guys wanted,
It's a pastime.
is the person I think it's fair to say on this show who pays the most attention to the Bears is legitimately worried about this game. Is like has
Every game.
concerns.
Every game.
Yeah, but remove the Bears scar tissue and this team with Ben Johnson and Caleb, this team that you think that under the right circumstances, doesn't sound like it would shock you if the Giants, like to me, here's the other reason that I am oddly confident about the Bears this weekend. I think it's a really, really rough look if your playoff hopes get extinguished by a bad team. And I think that when we're talking about the NFC, and I don't know if we can throw up our NFC playoff bracket or not, the Bears are right there, but it's a bunch of teams we think are really good ahead of them. Like, there's no one ahead of them that we're like, oh, man, that team's a fraudulent. That team's about to have a 4-game losing streak. So the Bears can win this game and wake up Monday morning still in 8th place, right? But losing this game is devastating.
Oh, listen, if they lose the game, I mean, you've been saying if the Ravens lose, their season's over. If the Bears lose the game, and we can throw up the Bears' schedule, it's very difficult to find a path to 10 wins.
Yes.
If the Bears lose. So they need to win. They should win. But you say remove Bears scar tissue, that's like an easy phrase for you to say. It's not an easy thing to do.
But
it's not. It gets very difficult here in 2 weeks. So yeah, hopefully they win these next 2 games. They should win at least this one against the Giants. And then there's going to be a lot of coin tosses the rest of the way.
Yeah, and yes, I agree with the coin tosses piece, and I don't even think the week after the Bears game or the Giants game would be a bad loss, like losing on the road in division.
No.
You know, that wouldn't be you want to win, but that wouldn't be a bad loss. This would be a horrible loss. Like, right? Let me ask you this. Real
After
quick.
that, I would like to make an announcement.
Oh, wow.
Oh boy.
Oh, this is.
I've
this could be
disappointed
tough.
Wilds.
The question I was going to ask is, as we sit here today, how many teams in the league do we think are worse than the Giants this moment? And the Titans, the Saints, the Jets, and after that, and
Dolphins maybe.
Dolphins, Browns maybe. Like, you know what I mean? They are like the 5th or 6th worst team, and so that's if the Bears are good, they're at home in a game they need, with not like they suffered their version of the Tucker Kraft injury a week ago that we haven't seen since then. They should
But
win.
Danny
They should
clearly
cover.
doesn't think they're
What's
good.
the announcement?
The announcement is this.
Oh boy.
First Super Bowl I ever watched, Patriots-Bears.
Yeah.
Bears beat the Patriots. And obviously, I grew up a Patriots fan. But oddly, like I was like, oh, the Bears. They were always kind of like this, shining light on the hill. Yeah. My wife went to Wisconsin. She, has a lot of friends in Chicago. I go to Chicago a lot. Caleb was a friend of the show. We had him on in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Right now, can I go to this camera, please? Am willing to guarantee you that Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson will beat the Giants. And I become the Bears guy on the show. It's guaranteed.
Wow.
That's what you're looking for.
I mean, yeah.
That's how precarious these
This is tough.
holds
I
on your
lost my
teams are.
hometown.
I was an
mean-
Anthony Edwards guy. You should have seen me.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I was in a commercial getting ripped. It's a true story.
Yeah, that
how
is
it is
true.
when it's-
Wow.
Time now for Parkins Picks.
That really
Steal
backfired.
wise.
Yeah.
That really
I-
got seeing the NFL very clearly. This is the official pick segment. I plug into the matrix. I see the league clearly. I'm not going to let 3-0 change me. I'm not scared of picking big games, taking the points with Detroit. Play in the wood with the Chicago Bears. Easy, easier, and easiest. I know that I'm right.
Time now for Parkins Picks. Here's the review of last week.
It was not good.
Well,
It was not good. And the worst part about it is that Nick and I won the same game. We both won on Seattle, and we both went 1-2. And I am a very embarrassing 13-14. But Nick said to me, he said, you can't wear the king costume today.
Yeah, you're under 500.
Yeah. And then I said, you know what, you're probably right. And then I thought to myself, should I be taking picks advice or fashion advice from a guy with a worse record than me?
Again,
I decided
I'm not
no.
asking you to take picks advice, but you're under 500. Have some dignity.
this will get you over the hump.
Nick,
3-0.
Yeah.
Dignity left the station a long time ago.
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking. We've known each other too long for you to assign dignity or shame to me. But where I agree with you is I need 3-0.
Yeah.
So, to the, what is it, week 10?
Yeah.
Feels like week 10. Week 10 picks. Wilds, your Patriots, plus 2.5 in Tampa. Yes, Tampa is at home, and yes, Tampa is coming off a bye. Yes, Tampa's offensive line is getting healthier. Both teams are banged up with the skill positions. I do think Tampa inflated based on the fourth quarter comebacks. Their record is a little bit better than what their team actually suggests they are. And Drake May on the road, for real. The Patriots this year, 4-0 against the spread on the road. They've been shattering the expectations. May has been awesome. I simply think right now, today, the Patriots are a better team than Tampa, so I think they win the game outright. I certainly will take the 2.5 points, even though Tampa is coming off the bye, and bye weeks have been very good for teams this year. My second pick in Week 10, forgot it. There we go. Eagles plus 2.5. Eagles off the bye in Green Bay. Philly's offense the first 6 weeks was one of the biggest stories on the show. What's going on with Saquon? What's going on with the offensive line? What's going on with A.J. Brown? What's going on with Jalen Hurts? Last 2 games, they look like the Eagles from last year. Saquon Barkley had his best game before the bye. The offensive line had its best game before the bye. Jalen Hurts had his best game 2 weeks ago at this point. Tucker Kraft out for Green Bay. The rest advantage for Philadelphia. The Packers' running game has not looked good so far this year. I am a believer. This is 2 outright upsets. Eagles and Patriots win the game outright. And last but not least, the Baltimore Ravens in Minnesota. I think this is a double-digit win for Baltimore. That Minnesota-Detroit game was weird. I think you play that game 10 times. Detroit wins 8 of them. I really do not believe in what I saw from Minnesota last week. But more than that, the Ravens look back. And what does Brian Flores do? Everyone knows, what does Brian Flores do? He blitzes. How's Lamar against the blitz? The best quarterback in football since the start of last year. First across the board. So this would have been the type of thing that could have knocked Lamar off maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago. He's a fully formed offensive player at this point. There was basically no rust first quarter and a half or so last week. He looked spectacular. The mobility looked good. He wasn't scrambling, but he was moving around to throw. I don't think Flores is going to be able to get home. Ravens win that game in Minnesota easy. I firmly expect this to be a 3-0 week.
Well, we both can't have 3-0 weeks because we have the opposite side of Patriots-Bucks. So
Which makes me happy.
Okay, go ahead, bro.
Makes me happy.
Eagles-Packers. I mean, look, like I said, I like the Eagles. I think there's a lot of reasons to think they're going to win. But what you didn't take into consideration is how Jordan Love, J-Lo, picks up his game in the second half of the season.
Yeah, I like this.
He's
Who
been
loves
much
this graphic?
better.
It was good,
I think if they show the graphic, he's been much better in the second half of seasons than the first. And he's played well this first half of the season, but he's going to take it to another level. And they need, look, even though the Eagles have lost twice as well, I think the Packers need this much more than the Eagles. I mean, obviously the Eagles' division isn't nearly as tough.
Well, there's no question.
The Packers definitely need the game more.
Yeah,
Though the
and
Eagles,
they're at home,
Eagles
lost
play for the one
last
seed.
week at home to a bad team in Carolina. So I think the Packers got this one.
But I will say, Brew, and you weren't here yesterday, J-Lo was on the dud list.
Yeah, I mean,
So, all right.
That factors in.
I might put him on the
Before
bud
I
list.
give my take, a question about Eagles-Packers. Because before the year, even post-Micah Parsons trade, you had the Packers missing the playoffs barely.
That's
I think
correct.
you had them as like the first team out.
Yep.
If they lose this game, they'll
That
be
is on the board.
5-3-1. That's what I was going to ask you. With everything you've seen, you expect the Eagles obviously to cover, but I also think you're picking them to win.
Yes, I am.
So right now, this moment, you think the Packers are going to play themselves out of the playoffs?
They've been better than I thought. Listen, I think it's more likely, obviously, that they make the playoffs than miss. I think they're like a 5-1 favorite to make the playoffs. You'd have to get them like 3.5-1 for them to miss the playoffs. But I'll say this: it's more likely that the Packers miss the playoffs than they're the 1 seed.
Oh, yeah.
I do not think.
I agree with that. I know they were the 1
Really?
seed a week ago.
Yeah, they were the 1 seed a week ago. They're in first place in their division. But the Eagles' path to the 1 seed is just much easier. The Packers will probably make the playoffs. There's 9 teams in the NFC with 5 or more wins.
Yeah, but one of them's fraudulent Bears, who you don't believe in, which was my real.
That is not
that's
what I
my
said.
real. Well,
Not what I
it's not
said.
what you didn't say in the first 10 minutes, and it's not what you said during Parkins Picks. Because I don't know about you guys. Hey KW.
Yeah.
If your Patriots were 4-point favorites at home against a woebegone Giants team,
Guaranteed.
would you like it? Hey, Brew.
Guaranteed.
If your Ravens were a
guys.
4.5-point favorite at home against a
Absolutely.
woebegone Giants team,
Absolutely.
I'm just telling you right now, at the very least, if I won't guarantee it, I would have it in my picks. I would say I think my team's more likely to beat up on the Giants than the Patriots are to go to Tampa and win. You're real nervous.
Nick.
You think they're going to lose.
Let me explain
You
something.
think they're going to lose.
Listen, maybe it's your first time gambling, but if the Chiefs were a 4.5-point favorite against the Giants, I guarantee it for the Chiefs too.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs would be like a 10.5-point favorite.
I understand.
against the
I
Giants.
understand.
They're better. All of your teams are better than my team. The Patriots are better than the Bears, the Ravens are better than the Bears, and the Chiefs are better than the Bears.
You're worried.
The fact that Ben Johnson still comes on with you is.
I know. It's
He
remarkable.
doesn't respect homers. He knows that I'll tell it to him straight.
Hey, that's
Run
that's
the
a good
ball,
thing.
Ben.
I do think that was a 3-0 week. I'm rooting for Nick's picks, but I think that a 3-0 week.
Really?
Honestly,
I love that.
it feels a lot like 1 and 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it feels a lot like 1 and 2.
I like it a lot.
Side bet on which one of us gets
coming
back
up
500
next.
first?
Sure.
Great. Welcome back. Willie Colon and Greg Jennings hanging out. Halloween made a quick comeback in Denver last night with all the boos coming from Broncos fans. You get it? For Bo Nix. He actually won the game. Or like Boo Nix, am I right? AFC West standings, Chargers a comfortable 8-2, but basically even money to win the division because we all have eyes, and we watched the game last night. So after watching that, do you guys think the Chiefs can catch up to the Broncos?
So obviously they have some work to do. Can they catch up? Yes. If the Broncos are going to be what we saw last night offensively, that's going to end up being problematic. The good thing about the Broncos is their defense is for real. You had your defensive player of the year, if I remember,
baby.
Nick
He's
Bonito.
all dog.
He's awesome.
A problem.
Yeah, you weren't wrong.
And he sets the tone for that defense in terms of being able to disrupt what the offense wants to do, throwing the football and allowing everybody else to then do their part. But Bo Nix has to be better. I didn't even like what I heard with the idea of, I've been booed once before. Yeah, we get that, but understand why they're booing you too, because you were really bad.
Good point.
Like it was, and I got this team I had this team at the beginning of the season making the playoffs. I thought Bo Nix would take a step, and I'm not saying it's over, but he just has to be better. Last night was hard to watch as a fan, as a former player. Kudos to the guys in that locker room on that offensive side of the ball, sticking with them and not letting whatever their frustrations are get outside that locker room, because I'm sure they have them.
Yeah, I think historically the Chiefs, this time of year, when the temperature drops, they turn up, right? I got a graphic right here to show you what Patrick Mahomes looks like in the month of November. He dominates, right? You talk about total yards per game, 331 plus his winning percentage. So overall, I'm expecting him in this offense to take flight right now. And I think if you're the Chiefs and you remain in sync and play unselfish with the defense coming into fruition, you got blood in your mouth because you took the L in Buffalo, you're coming off a bye. I expect historically this Chiefs team to say, okay, we got to go. And to Greg's point, when you watch the Denver Broncos on offense, you laugh at it, right? Like, oh, this is who we should be worried about? Oh, this is easy money, right? And so I'm looking at this Chiefs team to say, yeah, we have 2 head-to-heads. We got one on the 16th. The next one is December 25th. We got to have those because if we go half and half, then it doesn't matter.
Right, and the first one is out of the bye. So can the Chiefs catch the Broncos? Yes, obviously they can. They're 2 back in the loss column and they play them twice, so they definitely can catch them. You ever watch a football game and kind of resent it? I kind of resented the game last night. So this game is so bad. But it's like prime time. It's standalone. Yeah. You're watching it. We love football. Like both teams had more penalties than first downs.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Troy looked it up for me. First time since 1976, more penalties than first downs. And I have left the Broncos off of Top 10 Tuesday all year. Their defense is great, but I just don't believe in Bo Nix. He's either throwing behind the line of scrimmage or he's chucking it deep. Their defense is great, but I'm like, you're going to have to do something offensively. And they are on this winning streak. They have not lost since week 3. But there is something about this 7-0 stretch for the Broncos that doesn't seem sustainable, and I will show you. Because they have been trailing in every game.
Yeah. They're horrible in the first quarter.
But look at in terms of since week 4, most snaps tied or trailing, and then the win-loss record of those teams. Because if you're losing for large portions of the game, you often lose the game. They are 5th on the list for most snaps while tied or trailing, yet they're undefeated. That is the least sustainable football ever. So maybe they'll get to 11 wins. They probably will because of the schedule and the defense, and they'll make the playoffs. But this team is not a real contender. Yeah, they're just not.
You said something a little while ago. The reason why we hated last night's game, because if you watch what they did against the Giants in the 4th quarter and how they rallied and put up points and they looked explosive, at some point during this game, I thought we were going to see that, right? Because for me, the Raiders
needed to see it.
We needed to see it. But for me, the Raiders were just beating themselves. I was expecting the Broncos to turn it up, wake up, and be like, all right, this is why you're here. This is why we're on prime time, and this is why you should watch next week's game. I saw none of that. And so I'm more worried about the Broncos going for it, because if you play like this at home, Thursday night football with the world watching, and you got the Chiefs next week, I mean, the Chiefs are like, man, feed me my biscuits. I'm ready to eat if that's how they're going to play.
Yeah, I already bet the Chiefs -3.
Yeah, well I mean, look, every team that they've played has watched this tape. Yeah. We watched it last night on the national scene, and we know how we felt. Imagine being in the film study room, and this is your opponent coming up. You feel the same way. And somehow, some way, that team seems to find a way to be in the game and then come out victorious with that type of a performance, being their constant.
There's always also like, they're bad games. There's blowouts all the time. They couldn't even punt correctly. Yeah. They kept shanking punts. Yeah. The game was just a ridiculous watch. And you brought up the Raiders, and we don't talk about them often, and they're 2-7. But Brock Bowers is one of the best football players. He's like a polar bear that catches the ball. He's unbelievable. He had 3 targets last night.
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
What are you in the one catch that he had? He's shedding dudes off and running for 31 yards. Maybe throw him the ball.
And somebody said this last night on the telecast in reference to the Broncos' poor play, that maybe they're just looking ahead to next week.
On a Thursday?
That's BS, right? This is a team that had to perform and didn't perform to the standard in which we expected them to, and they should be thrown stoned because of it, honestly.
All right, so let's stay in the AFC West here. Justin Herbert and the Chargers, huge game this weekend, Sunday night. Got the Steelers in L.A. Herbert against the Steelers defense and just the pressures, and we know what it is, right? The Steelers sack the quarterback, they pressure the quarterback, and Justin Herbert gets sacked and gets pressured a ton. So that is the X's and O's matchup of the game. Can the Chargers offensive line hold up against the Steelers? And so the question is, can Herbert overcome it? And what I will say, and we'll get more into it, but he has to. I really don't see a formula for the Chargers. Like, people are like, oh, well, why don't they run the ball like last year? I don't know, because they're on their 10th starting offensive lineman and their 3rd string running back. Like their starting running back literally was on the practice squad at the beginning of the year. And the guy Penning, who they just traded for from the Saints, will be their 10th starter on the offensive line. And you've got a top 5 talent in the league at quarterback. He's your only path. They're not going to be able to run the ball. So if they win, it's because of Herbert.
Yeah, and this is going to be a shocker, but to me, this feels like a letdown game.
For
the Steelers.
Really? On Sunday night?
Because I just don't know if their defense can perform the way they performed last Sunday. It took such a Herculean effort. And Valid, they shut down the run, and TJ popped off the tape. Ramsey did well. Kyle Duggar had a big game. It really took Alex Highsmith to get back into being who they needed him to be.
But isn't this a blood in the water situation if you're the Steelers because of all the backups on the offense? I'm surprised to hear you, a Steeler, say that.
Because the defense is what makes me nervous. They have been inconsistent this year.
Yeah, no question.
That's what makes me. If this was a more of a consistent brand, I'm saying, yeah, we'll go to LA and do what we do. It took them 3 weeks to get right? They had one good game. Now you're going to go on the road against Herbert. You know he's going to wear the cape. I just feel like this is going to be a letdown game. I want to be wrong.
Yeah.
But there's something in my stomach is telling me, hold your horses.
Wow. So for me, it doesn't even need to be a letdown game for the Steelers to lose this game, because if somehow, some way, the Chargers can get any sign of protection to where Herbert can drop back and be able to find guys open with a little bit of time. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to get hit. He's probably going to get hit. However, if he has that, they're going to be in a dogfight, because he's one of the best in the business as far as spraying the ball around and getting guys open and making plays. And when you look at this defense, they're a defense that can be very opportunistic. If you leave the Chargers opportunities, they will take advantage of it. And he's shown us this year, to a degree, not on the grand scale like we want him to see in the postseason or in the prime moment, but this is a prime moment where Justin Herbert, regardless of what he needs to overcome on his team or otherwise, he's been able to do it. I think this is what he knows he needs to do. I listened to him in the presser earlier this week, and just about all the offensive line mix-ups and whatever, and he was as steady as I've heard a quarterback. He didn't mention it. He didn't allude to that being an excuse, reason. He's like, yeah, we got to be better for those guys. They're going to be out, so we need to just step up and.
Because that's the world he lives in now.
Like,
he understands. It is what
but
it is.
It was different because you normally hear somebody kind of speak to it. He never spoke to it. He said, the guys are doing a great job. I got to be better. And he spoke to just what he believes that they really can get done. So I'm interested to see if he can really deliver.
So that's great leadership. I want to. My buddy, friend of the show, Nick's mentioned him a bunch, Andrew Filipponi, does radio in Pittsburgh, covers the Steelers. He texted us this morning and he was like, man, Parkins, you're in a great spot, because if the Chargers win, you get to say Herbert played great. And if the Steelers win, you get to just blame it on the Chargers offensive line. And I'm like, yeah, you basically figured it out. But is that, yes, I believe in Herbert's talent, but is that not also what is happening right now? If Herbert just throws it to the other team blindly and has terrible interceptions, fine. But if he is under duress 50% of the time he drops back because he's playing against a great defense on paper with backup offensive linemen, one player cannot single-handedly win games in the NFL.
We've kind of talked about this before. He's not allowed to get the pass because of where he stands right now and how we view him. And when you have a deficient offensive line, and yeah, you may have weapons on the outside, and you have a spotty running back, I think Kamani Vidal is going to be an answer for them, especially offensively. He's going to give Herbert a lot of quick outs. But Herbert has to be better than what we already know, because that's what we're expecting him to be. And so if he's not able to do that against a really good defense in the Pittsburgh Steelers, we now question, because we've seen Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen stand up in the face of adversity. So that's why you sit back and say, all right, here's another statement game, another big test on Sunday night versus Aaron Rodgers. Go put on the cape. If you can't, then we're going to keep putting you in the B level.
If he does, it'll be the story of the week next week, because this is a very, very tough spot for him.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.